What is the easiest job that also pays well? I make about $30 an hour once you average my night differentials and Sunday premium pays. I'm a mechanic for the postal service. Basically I babysit the machines that sort your mail. It can be frustrating at times when you have to delve into schematics and troubleshoot, but generally I just replace broken belts, seize bearings, and write down the numbers the machine is producing. Plus good health insurance, FERS, and a no layoff clause in our contract. Scale operator. I'm currently making $50K per 6 months, and I spend about 90% of my shift doing all my job. When a truck drives onto the scale, I type the weight into my computer and click print, then hand them the receipt. At the end of my shift I click 3 more buttons to save the day's results. About 10-20 times per week I make a 5-second phone call to a trucker to tell him his load time. That's it, and it pays $26 an hour. I'm pretty sure there literally isn't an easier job in existence, unless being paid to not show up at work is a job. Some IT jobs, especially if it's on the government side of things. I once got hired on as part of a small team where our only job was to set up and manage a cluster of servers. The only problem was that we didn't have any servers. It was 2.5 years of full-time pay before we received any. A buddy of mine was deployed to Afghanistan as a system administrator to work on one very specific military server. He couldn't work on any other servers because other contractors had those jobs, and there's big rule about crossing contract streams in government contracting. So he gets to Afghanistan and finds out that the military unit he's supporting hasn't turned it on and doesn't plan on using it for its defined task. He asks the colonel to sign the paperwork to send him home. Except the colonel doesn't want to tell the general he doesn't plan on using the equipment. So he rejects the paperwork, meaning my buddy can't leave, just in case the general forces them to use the equipment. My buddy spent 12 months in Afghanistan hanging out in the gym, watching movies, playing video games and twiddling his thumbs while making around $120 an hour. I got a job as a field supervisor during the last census. The only problem was I had no team. I'd go to the morning and evening meetings and get paid for the roll-ins in between them. But I literally had no responsibilities other than turning in my time and mileage sheet. My friend's brother-in-law works with govt. His job is to visit diff parts of our country and collect data on cows and horses. Lives in nice hotels, travels the country, and no target or deadlines. What's the name of the job? Dunno. The department is animal husbandry. Don't ask why it's called husbandry. No idea. HVAC service tech, not an installer. Much more experience needed. But the service tech who's still learning the ropes. Just doing coil cleanings, filter changes, part swaps, etc. Some of those guys are making $30 plus HR. Some education required still, but the industry isn't going anywhere. People will always need heating, cooling. I work for an HVAC company doing duct cleaning, getting ready to move to install, and I make $20 HR plus about 15 hours OT every pay period. HVAC is where the money is if you can get in the doors. I do taxes for people and it's an easy side hustle, but I met the dude with the golden job. He is a janitor for the USPS, $60K a year. Motherfucker bragged about how little he does. He said, and I quote, "On a bad day I clean the bathroom twice, but mostly I putz around with a broom and enjoy my mandatory breaks and 2 hours lunch." For $60K, his wife worked as well and he had a military retirement. They cleared $120K between all their sources of income and basically did nothing. Go to college, they said. You'll never make a living if you don't, they said. My ex-Phil was a consultant for an advertising firm. He made $150,000 per year for working 100 days according to his contract. I asked him what he did at work and he replied, "A whole lot of nothing. I'll take that. I just got hired entry level at an advertising firm. I now know what to aspire to." I'm a kickboxing coach and personal trainer. Went to school for physical therapy. The fact that I can make my $30 HR teaching skills you can learn from YouTube makes me very grateful. Some people need social interaction and genuine motivation to reach goals. That's 90% of my job. Psychologist: yes man, how was your day really? That sucks. In 30 minutes you'll feel better. Great work today. I made $50 HR as a Barry fitness instructor for a while. The boutique fitness studios pay quite well. Firefighter. Depends where you work. Some aka small cities pay crap. 30-45k, but you can find cities across this country that start at $60k plus. Promote and you'll make even more. I've been at my depth for 7 years now, have promoted twice and make $110k a year working 9 days a month. Most depths work a 24/48 schedule, so you only work 9-10 days a month. And it's easy 99% of the time. Don't let movies and pop culture fool you. Across this great nation, for nearly every fire department, the large majority, 75% of calls are medical related and 90% of those are usually BS. We show up, take some vital signs, and wait for the box, ambulance, to show up. Fires are exceedingly rare today. A large majority of firefighters may to go a true fire maybe 1-2 times a year. When it does happen, it's hard ass work. But at the station, life is easy. We cook, work out, sleep and watch movies on duty. Seriously, easiest job in the world, and it's fun. I work as a process technician. No training or education necessary to start. All training is done on the job and paid for by the company while I get paid hourly to attend at time and a half. The job I have specializes in water treatment fusing chemical plants. It sounds a lot more technical than it is. Basically I run tests on water coming in and add chemicals as needed. Hardly ever have to change any feed rates. 10 out of 12 hours are spent on my ass looking at the internet and air conditioning. Starting pay is 28 and topped out in 3 years to 43 an hour. Opportunities for overtime up to time and a half. Great benefits include matched 401k contributions and 6% of pre-tax pay for pension. I make about 150k to 250k a year not including bonuses. Seriously, I'm an overpaid pool boy. Back office operations work in investment bank. You make $100 K3-4 a year out of undergrad, only work 40 hours a week, and half the day is browsing the web, plus really good retirement and healthcare. That said, corporate culture isn't always great. What are your responsibilities at work? It's a lot of project management nowadays, along with trade processing, anti-money laundering, compliance, metrics and reporting, etc. All the non-sexy, non-client facing work that is necessary for an investment bank to functions. My friend works off and on for a law firm doing a job he's told me is completely mindless that anyone can learn to do within a few minutes. Basically they go through thousands of emails flagged as having certain words possibly related to whatever case is going on and dismiss all the obviously irrelevant ones. He worked for about 2.5 months last time and went through like 50 audiobooks. Got paid something like $30 an hour and they always had enough work that you could get overtime if you wanted it. The catch is you have to be a lawyer. Safety inspector for secure government facilities. I knew a guy and his whole job was inspect the fire extinguishers. He only got the job because of his security clearance. It paid essentially $20 an hour with bennies to walk around and make sure nothing had a date on it more than a year ago. And if so, call someone else to come handle it. Consultant that runs traffic modeling software for transportation agencies. They bill $150 an hour and all the ones I have met have no clue how to run the software they were hired to run. They import a K. They get IT to import a pre-rendered CAD model of an interchange. Plug in a few values like how many cars per minute do you want on this road or how many buses or trucks, then hit the simulate button. Wait for a video to pop out, then present them at public meetings like they invented a new form of fusion energy or something. I'm sure some of them have degrees or whatnot, but literally nothing in that process requires the use of it, and I can and have taught much lower paid employees to use the software themselves to avoid paying them more. It's infuriating to think about how much gets wasted on that because managers don't realize how trivially easy the software is to use. Bank teller. You don't have to have much experience to get it. Minimum, at least where I worked, is started at $15 an hour. You can usually get overtime. Any problem customers you can't handle are just sent over to the bankers for them to handle. You don't really have much busy work in between customers, etc. I could go on. Sales goals suck, but otherwise an easy job and you can climb the ladder rather quickly. Jimmy John's driver. If you have a shitty but working car, can avoid road rage, and handle constant mildly infuriating situations. It's pretty good money for the work. Mostly drive around listening to music. Drop off a Sammy here and there. I tried delivering pizza but the smell in my car made me want to vomit. Babysitters. They command $15.20/HR in my area. That's more than I make teaching. The vast majority of child care workers are grossly underpaid. The fact that where you live supposedly pays them $15-20 per hour is both shocking and a good thing. Your child's safety is worth more than minimum wage. I got all these jobs beat. I am an editor. I work maybe 30 hours a week and get to make TV for a living. It's not hard work, you just have to learn Avid front and back, and I get anywhere from 150 to 250 grand a year. Most editors I know work non-stop on 10 shows for 6 months and then burn out and quit.